Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name's Tom, and welcome to our stream. All right, so today we're going to be kind of adding in the ability to like and unlike comments on the new Jaeger site, which the name will be changing here briefly as well. So essentially, if I dive into a lesson here and I scroll on down to the comments, note that I am logged in here as myself, and we take a look at the comments. I've added this little heart icon here, and the goal for today is to rig this up to a like record in our database. Anytime a user clicks on this, and then should they click it again, it would essentially do an unlike. Not a dislike, but an unlike. So they can like the comment, and then they can undo their like if they wish. And then we'll have a little count right here as well, along with the comment. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. So to start with here, oh boy, I don't quite remember where I left off with this. I know that if I click on it, I have that bound up to a handler that tells me what that particular comment's ID is, but it's not kicking anything out. So let's go see whether or not I have anything in the database for this. I'm not quite sure. Let's see. I did not mean to close that all. I meant to. Okay, there we go. So let's open up the local one here and let's see whether or not we have any comment votes. Okay, I called it comment votes. So all we want to do is whenever the button's clicked for the first time for the user, let's plop a record in here with that comment ID and the user's ID. And then should they click it again, we just delete that record out. So we have this rigged up here. I believe this is in the base. So you have the list of comments here. That button is, let's see, it would be down here along with the actions. Yes, right here. So we have heart outline and just the heart. So the heart outline is whenever it's not quite liked yet, and then the heart would be the filled in heart, which would be whenever they have liked it. So this is inside of a button, and it looks like I have one showing on hover. What do we got going on here? BTN outline, absolute top left, filled. Okay, not quite sure what I have going on display wise with that, but we'll take a look at here in a second. Main note is we have this toggle like, and that's what's kicking out to this Alpine function within the comment base right here. So we need to rig this up to an API endpoint. So let's first head into routes, and then underneath the API section, let's go ahead and do kind of similar to this history progression toggle. Let's go ahead and do a route post comments like toggle. And let's see, we probably don't have a controller for this. We could put it inside of the comments controller. Let's see how filled up that is. Store, update, destroy. Yeah, we can do a like function in there. Can always move it out. So that's comments controller, and we'll call that like as comments like. So we can give that a save, and that full URL will be API comments like toggle. And let's come back into our comments controller, and let's go ahead and get that set up. So public async, let's see, we call that like, HTTP context contract. Okay, so we're going to want the response so that we can respond via an API endpoint. We're going to want auth, and actually we want params as well. So let's head back into that route definition. And instead of that, let's do ID and like instead of that. So we'll do that. And then like itself will just be a toggle. So first and foremost here, we will want to find the comment, I believe. Hang on a minute. Do I have that with a auth middleware? Yeah, so the whole API prefix is auth middleware protected, so that's good. All right. With that in mind, now we are good to go ahead and rig this up. So const comment equals, I'm trying to think of whether or not we even need the comment record or whether or not we can just plop this right on the user. Comment votes, user. Well, actually, do I have that relationship set up? I guess that would be step one, wouldn't it? So let's take a look at the comment and let's see if we have anything in here. User votes. Okay. So yes, I do have it rigged up as user votes. And let's check the user, because if it's in the user, then we can easily just attach it to the user this way, since we already have the auth user. Doesn't look like I filled this side in. Got email history, posts, hash. No, it's not in here. So let's add that in here. So it's going to be a many-to-many. Can probably just copy and paste it from this side and flip it. So, okay, let's copy you, paste it there. Okay, that's going to be, oh, no, not yeah, yeah, comment. Did that not import? That should have. It's in there. All right. Oh, yeah, I didn't change the other half of it now, did I? So right here, change that to comment, and there we go. Okay. So now that we have that in place, let's head back into our controller, and we don't need to query the record. The only reason that we might want to do that is to verify that the comment, or that the comment exists. So that would be one benefit of doing it. We could also just use the validator for that. But let's go ahead and just get this rigged up for right now. So I keep wanting to do const. Let's see, auth user related, and we should have user. Oh yeah, no, that name should change because that's not specific to the comment. So user, so it'd be comment votes. There we go. So comment votes dot, and then that should be attach. Doesn't seem to want to update. Related comment. Oh, I have an S on it. Whoops. There we go. Votes dot attach, and then we should be able to do params.id right in there, and we await that. And if that's good, then we should be good to go ahead and return response. I'll do a status of 204. Well, let's go ahead and return back whether or not it actually was liked. Yeah, so this is the toggle. So yeah, so let's go ahead and let's go ahead and check for that record first. So const let's see here. Exists equals await auth.user.related comment votes query dot. I feel like I'm making this more difficult than it needs to be. Let's see here. Where yes, let's inverse that. I think it would be cleaner. So const exists equals await comment dot, and then we could also do the whether or not the comment itself exists this way as well. So comment dot query dot let's see, where has user votes no, this still feels more difficult than it needs to be. What am I missing? Off user. All right. Const exists equals await user dot related comment votes dot query dot where ID equals params dot ID. Yeah, I think it was just the auth dot user that was throwing me off because most of the time I have my user plucked out. But yeah, all right, so there we go. So if exists, then we will want to remove it. Otherwise, we'll want to create it. We could do this as a ternary. Let's see. So exists await auth, or shit, I'm trying to do that again. User dot related comment votes dot yeah. Took me way too long to get to this point. I'm gonna blame it on it being a Friday evening. All right. So otherwise, we want to create it with the. Let's see, we're doing auth related, so that would be the actual not post ID, but the should be the comment ID, shouldn't it? Oh, no, not create, sorry. Attach. Params.id. Okay. My goodness. Okay. So, did exist, or was removed, or yeah, was removed. Vote. So let's see what we get there. All right. Oh yeah, no, we need to rig it up on the front end side too. So let's go ahead in there and do that. So that was in the base. All right. So const data equals await. Let's make this async. Axios post. Let's see. We're going to need that to be API comments comment ID like. Yeah. I don't know. Okay. I don't know why I made that a post. We're not really posting anything else. Oh, but all right. And then let's just console.log the data that we get back there for tests. All right. So let's hit it. A 500 error. That's what I always like to see. What for? Select comments, comment votes, user ID as pivot user ID. Where's the end of it? My ID is ambiguous. All right. What ID would that be? Right here. So that would be comments.id, right? I think. Let's try that again. So let's clear that out. Click it. Nope. Still getting the same thing, or nope, this looks different. Does not exist. Relation comment votes does not exist. Or column 0 of relation. All right, so this one's on the insert. So query's good, insert not good. All right. Let me read that one more time. Why is it coming up with a 0? It's got 1, 2, 3. It should just be 2, shouldn't it? Comment ID and user ID. Did I not make that ID correctly on there? It should be. Made this a while ago, so who knows? Comment votes. Okay. Right? Yeah. Table.increments. Okay. I mean, that looks right. Maybe the model. No, that should be right. So pivot table. Get out of there. Comment votes. Has many user over here. All right. Oh man. Oh, okay. All right. I think I just needed that to be an array, which is weird because I think that specifies that it accepts either an array or string number. Oh, okay. My bad. I read that wrong. Yeah. So array there. Okay. So that seems to be working. We can go ahead into the database and verify that. Cool. We got user ID 1, comment 3. So that was my bad for being away from Adonis for a little bit. Brain fart there. So now what we need to do is to get that to reflect on this side. And if I refresh, I don't even know if it would show. So let me see. So it's the second comment down that I clicked on. So if we refresh here, scroll all the way down to that comment, you can see it's showing up just the same as before, despite it actually being liked. One of the issues is I bet I'm not querying it at all with the comments. So there's really nothing to even look for right now. So let's go ahead and go do that. So that would, what one am I on here? Lessons. All right. I don't know why I have these open. All right. So lessons controller, show, comments, get for post. We want to dive into there. All right. And it should just be a matter of preload. Well, no, that would be what? So yeah, no, you do want to preload it specific to this user, but then you also want to get a count. So user votes query dot where, and at this point we need the auth user ID as well. So user ID number or null, and at that point we only want to preload this if we have the user. So if user ID query, and this will get a little messy, so we'll break this down here. Query dot, where do we break it down at? Let's do it here, like so. There we go. Where user ID, or user votes, user. All right. And we've already done our check up here to check and make sure that that exists. So we know that that will be a number. So I'm just going to enforce that. Sorry. Getting my languages mixed up now. Shoot. Was that not right? Number. No. Okay, there we go. Whew. So I feel like this might be wrong. I'm having a brain fart right now. I can't quite think through what that appropriate column selection might be. It could be users.id like we had on the inverse side over on the comments controller, where we had the users related yeah, bet you it would be. So, all right, I had a feeling it might be, so I'm gonna roll with that for right now. So this is going to get the user votes if this particular authenticated user has voted on this particular comment. Otherwise, this will just be null. So on the front end side, we'll want to check whether or not this exists. If it does, then we know the user has liked this particular comment. Next, what we want to do is actually get the user votes as a whole, the count of it for that particular comment. So instead of preloading for that, we will do, I believe there's a with count. Yes. And that should be as simple as just calling user votes. So we'll save that. Okay. And so now we should at least have something coming through on the front end side to be able to select that particular comment. And we refreshed here to make sure everything's still working okay. So let's jump back into our front end here, and this will be on our comment list. And right here. So I'm going to make this simple before we find out what is there. Let's go ahead and just drop our count for the user likes on here. So it'll be comment dot extras dot, and it user votes count, I think. Undefined. So no, that was not quite right. All right. Let's go ahead and just drop it out. So let's inspect comment.extras and see exactly what it is. All right. User votes underscore count. My bad. Okay. There we go. So now we should at least get the fact that this one here has a 1. And whoa. Okay, so that was not unique to that particular comment. Whoops. I don't want to print. All right. So let's head back into here. Let's try to fix that. So right in here, related post-related comments, query. Why isn't that unique to that? Interesting. Because state ID would be applicable per comment. That is peculiar. If I like a different comment, will it increment them all? So let's go down to this one. It's like that one. Refresh and see whether or not this changed to 2. No, it's still 1. So it's particular to this one still, but it's applying them to all. It looks like. I don't know whether or not that's right or not. Oh shoot, what's that one thing that you need to call to scope things? Shoot. Let's see, what was that called? Group? Yeah. I think it was a group. Let's see if there's a group version of that. Oh, there is not. Okay. Group by. But that would not be it. So, I feel like that's weird. I don't know if it's me having a brain fart or if that is weird. Okay, tell you what, let's go ahead. Let's take this guy off for right now. Let's comment that out. Let's preload all user votes. All right, for the particular comment. And what we'll do is see what count we're getting back for that. So instead of doing this, I'm going to go ahead and comment that out. And instead we'll do comment dot user votes dot length. Let's see what that's coming back as. I would imagine it should be 0, 1. And that's correct. Okay. And then down here at the bottom it would be 1 again. Yeah. So, okay. This might be that bug I saw a month or 2 ago. It was, I think it had something to do with counting. So it could be that, in which case we'll find a workaround. I forget, can you alias these? Oops. As votes. No, okay, I wasn't quite sure. So accept an alias. So what I was looking for was to see whether or not the user vote here would be for the particular user. But if it's there, we can do that on the front end side. So I'm just going to leave this like this for right now. And let's see if there's anything else that would be beneficial for that. Having intersected. Yeah, we could just do a where exists. No, sorry. It would be like a Equimper asked, do you like Edge or using something like React? Or do you like Edge more or using something like React? I tend to like to keep things on the server. Like simplicity is nice for me. If I don't need a whole bunch of stuff going on, I like to just stick with the basics, stick with Edge. If I need a bunch of, front end updates happening so that the user can immediately see stuff, that's where I reach for React. I tend not to reach, I reach for Vue, but I tend not to reach for a front end style package unless I absolutely need to. So if I don't, I like to stick with Edge. It's the same focus at work. I don't get to work with Adonis or anything like that. At my day job, I work with C#. So stick with that whenever I can. If it it doesn't quite do as much updating as I need it to do. So like a simple blog like this or something, where most of the stuff is static, you might update these every once in a while once a user performs an action. That's easy to do with just plain JavaScript. There, you don't really need to reach for anything. You tack Alpine on it, makes it even easier. But if I have like a ton of micro interactions within an application where I need to pull stuff from the database, after a user interacts with a small thing, update that little small thing, and I have that all over the place. That's where I reach for something like Vue or React. I don't like to add a whole lot of complexity to the stack if it's not needed. So, sorry, that was a tangent. Let's see. Okay, so we need to find a workaround, I guess. Yes, you feel Edge is as good as Blade or missing element? I saw the async in Edge, but not sure what this thing does. I like AdonisJS lately. It's been forever since I've used Blade, so I really can't comment on that. I do like Edge though. I use components heavily. Yes, you can await things inside of Edge. That will work just fine. Asynchronously loading things. You can extend additional items via the database within Edge. There's a lot of availability of things that you can do within there. Inertia is what I enjoy inertia too, but again, I don't reach for that unless I have a ton of micro interactions going on within my user interface. So like I do have an application that I'm working on beside this where I am using inertia, but it has, so if I touch a small button, a particular row needs to update, but everything else needs to stay in place. Things like that, it becomes a lot easier to use a JavaScript, a front-end JavaScript library so that you can easily do that instead of refreshing the whole page and things of that nature. So, yeah. All right. Equimper asked again, but what async will change in Edge? This will show the page and then start to fetch? No. So Edge is strictly back end. So if I, await something in Edge, it's to load additional data for that first render. So once I hit refresh here, once that page loads, Edge is done. I can do an Axios or an asynchronous request for an additional HTML input from Edge, but once that initial load is finished loading, Edge is done. Everything else is passed on to the client side. So if I click on reply here, that's done with client-side JavaScript, not Edge. Click on cancel. So there's a separation between what Edge is and what something like Vue is. All right, so I feel like there was a way to rename preloads, but I don't quite remember it. There might not be either. Relation callback. All right. So what we can do actually is take this, and I think we can drag that right onto the comment, actually. Well, no, because then we would need to have that within here, wouldn't we? Yeah, because I was thinking on query you'd be able to do something like that, but you would need to know the ID within the model. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to try to search for that. I feel, I don't know, half of me says that you can, and half of me says you can't. Change the name of a preload here. I could probably just recreate another preload specifically for this, because then that's specifically going to look up. Oh wait, no, it's in the, aha. It's not in the name, it's in the callback. So let's do that as a user vote, I guess. I had a feeling that there was a way to do it. It just wasn't coming to mind. There we go. So now we should have them both. We can simplify this one since we really only want the length. But for some reason, count's not coming back quite as I want it to. Let's do query.select, and let's just select the ID. Let's simplify that query a lot, the result of that a lot easier. So there we go. So we have that. Let's go down into list. Went way too far down. Okay, should be good to go ahead and no, won't be using that quite right now. Leave this as just a length check. And then take a look at let's see what I'm doing here. So it's definitely got something going on where I'm showing the whole thing as on hover. DevTools doesn't want to work. There we go. All right, so we got the button, got a div, and so both show. Oh, I did specific JavaScript or CSS for it. So let me go find that, because then I'll probably also want to tack on like an active, make it red, something like that. So let's go into the CSS. That is called btn filled and btn outline. Oops. Okay. So .btn filled. Oh, that just, okay. Just the opacity. So on here, we'd probably also want to btn hover fill hover. Where the heck was my head at whenever I wrote this? btn hover fill. Oh, okay. month ago me, what were you thinking? Or no, sorry, this is probably more like 3 months ago. Let's see. So, all right, PTM filled. BTN hover, that's the weirdest name ever for that. BTN hover filled dot active opacity 1, and let's go ahead and get that, make that red. So color, what is it? Theme colors dot red. No, it's not coming up right. Thought it was colors. Maybe I don't have auto complete. Okay, there they are. They're coming through now. Let's see, 700. And then over here, make this backticks. And let's see over here. Let's do a let's see, comment dot user like, or no, user vote. Man, my head was all over the place whenever I initially wrote this. If I was doing it again now, I would have named that table user or comment likes, and then this would have been user like, I don't know, whatever. I'm not gonna argue with 3 month ago me. So let's see here. Comment user vote, and whether or not that exists. So if that exists, then we will go ahead and do active. Well, so then we can just do it and. Okay, something like that. All right, doesn't look like it's red, and it doesn't look like it's filled in. So let's see why. I've noticed that the Firefox DevTools have been doing that. Anytime that you have like an automated refresh, the element tree just crashes. So it's coming through as undefined. So let's see whether or not we are getting our user vote in there. So let's do outside of the button so that it's at least a little bit readable. Inspect, comment, user vote. See what we're getting here. Guessing it would probably be undefined, wouldn't it? Yep. Okay. Let's verify that that's actually what I called it here. Is user vote. Okay. So let's go ahead and just inspect the whole comment and see. Maybe that went into the extras or something like that. I've never tried renaming a preload before, so I'm not 100% certain how that works. So let's see. All right. Here's our attributes. Updated at original. Preloads. Here's our user. User votes. And no. No, it did not go on. Okay. Well, so that's no biggie. Maybe that doesn't work. I thought it would, but I'm not certain. We actually don't need that query. Oh, I never passed in the user ID. That could be why. I added it, but I never actually passed it in. All right. Oy vey. Let's see. So where, that's lessons controller. There we go. All right. Auth user ID. And Sorry. User ID number or null. So that's no, undefined is what I meant to right there. Wrong. There we go. That should be correct now. There we go. So let's see whether or not it's coming through now. All right. User votes. Scroll up a little bit. Let's see whether or not it went in above here. Looks like I'm on the user now. Yeah. Okay. Well, regardless, we don't need that one. What we can do as an alternative, since we have all of the all of the votes for the particular comment preloaded. So if we go down to the bottom here, oh, it was up there, just showing. Oh no, wait. User original user votes is empty array. Okay, so yeah, I bet you that's messing with it. So let's go ahead and just undo what we just did there. Come back in here. It was worth a shot. I wasn't certain whether or not that was a thing. So let's get rid of this because we actually don't really need that. We don't need to do an extra query for this. And so what we can do is we can just check it directly on the user votes. So if we come back down to our list here, I'm going to go ahead and refresh it again just so that I can see exactly what I need to grab. Oh, shoot. I bet you I'm on the wrong one. Yep, you sure are. All right. Well, I might have been looking at the wrong one all along. All right, let me try this one more time. Sorry. Okay. Let's try this one more time. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right one this time, too. All right. All right, so there's one. And this is the one. So let's see whether or not it's in here. All right, so here's our preloads. There's our user votes, and yeah, so on. Let's see. But regardless, what I was saying before, the reason why we don't need that is because our user votes still, despite us selecting just the ID, does come with those extras. And that's going to come with the pivot comment ID and the pivot user ID. So what we need to do is really check to see whether or not we have any user votes with the user ID, pivot user ID present. And if we do, then that means that the user liked it. So let's go ahead and get rid, let's undo, or no, I guess redo to get back to here. Come back over here and I'll undo that. And then come back into our list.edge. And we can make this a little bit cleaner for ourselves by going up to here. Set a variable called user liked. Oh, indentation messed up between switching between WebStorm and this. I don't like that. The each is on the same level as all of the sets. All right. So comment dot user votes dot find where v dot extras dot pivot user ID equals auth user ID. And so now we can use our user liked, come down to, I think I went past it. Yep, right here. And instead of checking this, just checked whether or not user liked is there. All right, I'm seeing some red now. So we have not liked, liked, not liked. and liked. So that seems absolutely correct. Let's test our unlike. So let's go ahead, click again. Looks like the console rigged up some errors for me. Got 500, so that is not quite working. Delete from comments where ID, whoops. Yeah, no, I don't want to delete the comment. I wrote that up wrong, my bad. Service. No, not service, sorry. Controller. Show, no, comments controller, jeez. Yeah, wow, okay. So, yeah, so that would be we could either go off of the user again, or we could, so let's do user dot related comment votes dot query where comments dot ID is params ID and delete it out. Give that a save. Refresh. Or I guess I didn't need to refresh, but all right, did that anyway. Click that again, and all right, now we're getting a 500 again. Oh, son of a... Sorry. Ah. Detach. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. All right, there we go. My goodness. Remind me to stop streaming on Friday nights. Do it Saturdays. All right, so here we go. So we got back a successful response. So if I refresh, that red heart should now be back to a gray with a 0 count. Should have picked a shorter article. There we go. It's back to that. Yeah, so cool. So now the next thing to do would be to get the front end here to immediately respond to that. So if we click it, it should immediately go to red. And that's only once we get a successful response. So let's see here. So it would be within our... I guess the best way to do that is to... Well, no. So I'm not quite looping through them with... Alpine doesn't actually know what the comment itself is, does it? Form list. The list itself is all done in... Yeah. Edge loops through the comments. So Alpine doesn't know anything about that. So really all that we need to do is just directly reach for this particular btn filled under the comment. So on the comment itself, right here. Oh, I did give it an ID. Cool. Comment ID. So let's jump back into the base and let's do a, well, so what was the variable I returned back from that API endpoint? Was deleted, was removed. Okay. So if data.was removed, then what we want to do is remove the active class. Otherwise, we want to add the active class. And that's really all that we need to do. So let's first go ahead and grab the comments element. So we could do document dot query selector comment ID dot, and I cannot remember what it's called. Heart filled, BTM filled. My goodness. Okay. All right, and then like icon dot class list dot add, or no, sorry, remove active. All right, otherwise I should add it. So here we go. Okay, so if we hit this, all right, it's red. We also need to increment the count. Click that, bam, it's gone. All right, so let's do the count as well. Let's jump back into here. Where is my count? Here it is. So let's put you inside of a span. Just give it a class of BDN count. And drop that back into there. Come back over here. No, what did I call that? You called that. You can do it. BTN count. I think that's right. All right, and don't forget the tagged L on the bottom of the back of these. All right, so if we're removing, then we want to do count L dot text content equals number count L dot text content -1 count L dot text content equals number count L dot. There's definitely a cleaner way to write this, but we'll stick with it for now. Okay, and if we click, not a number, exactly what I wanted. Perfect. All right, so let me see what it's getting as text content here. So let's see what the count L is, as well as the text content. Oh, it's got the new lines in it. Okay. That's, yeah, that's the thing. All right. That's an easy fix. Dun, 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 dun. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Here we are. Not a number still. You telling me 0 is not a number? That's interesting. Context. Oh my gosh. All right. was going to say 0 is definitely a number. There we go. Okay. So now that we have one like there, and we know that this particular user can't, like this comment again, let's make sure that the count is actually per user. So let's go ahead and sign out. Sign in as somebody different. Just use the GitHub account, I guess. Okay, let's see, it was this one. Scroll down. Okay, so no longer identifying that I liked it, but that somebody has liked it, being that this is not red, but it is gray and hollowed out, meaning that I have not liked this with this account yet, but it does have the 1 signifying that somebody else has liked it. And so if I click it again, this should go back, well, for this user, this should go to red, and the count should go to 2. And there we go. And if I click it again, it should go down to 1, and the heart should go boom. Cool. Same thing with the other one. Cool. And same thing with one that isn't that one. Cool. Hey, Tina. Thanks for stopping by. Enjoy your time off work. Happy Friday. So really the last thing that I would want to do is to get that border off of there. Is that a border? Or make it a dark? Yeah, that's some kind of a border. Looks like it's going in and out. Like it goes away whenever I hover. Oh, that's the BTN outline. Apologies about the car. So, all right. Let's clean that up a little bit. And let's head in over here. So, outline, hover. I'd say don't get rid of that because that looks a little funky. And instead of doing that, let's just keep it there. And instead of adding the active class to this, let's add it to the parent. That way we can do, I just removed it, btn hover fill active dot btn outline, I think it was, color theme colors dot red 700. Okay. So now that border should just turn to red whenever you like it. Oh, right. You gotta switch the selector. Is that on base? That was on base. All right. So like icon L. Dang, man. What was that called? BTN hover fill. The weirdest name I think I've ever given to a button. I don't really know where my head was at whenever I wrote that. But all right. So boom. Back to that, and there's no more weird border action going on whenever I hover and unhover, so that looks good to me. So we've got this working. We have verified that it is unique per user. Didn't quite get it working as I'd hoped, but we got it working nonetheless, so that's all that matters. I think this might be the last time I stream on a Friday night. It's kind of hard. Your brain just wants to shut down, but we're supposed to get some bad storms tomorrow, so I wanted to stream today instead of tomorrow because you never know. Yeah, so we got this working. I think tomorrow I'm going to actually work on getting this site. Well, it already is deployed, so it's already at its new domain. But I think I'm going to work on actually making it the primary domain and getting Jaeger switched over to it and changing all of the names and all that fun stuff. So thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all in the next one, and hopefully with a different name than Jaeger and on a brand new site, which we're looking at right now, so long as I don't find any issues between now and when I go to release it. So alrighty, have a good weekend, everybody.